I quit a job at 24 years old in which I was making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year, plus amazing benefits. I quit this job. I was working out in Charlotte, North Carolina for a company named QuikTrip. I started working for that company out in Arizona, got transferred out there because I wanted to get transferred out there because I wanted to help the new division build and things like that. I quit this job, and what I want to explain to you guys is exactly all the reasons why I quit that job. I've never gotten into this in the history of the channel where we've got 700 plus videos. I never really explain all the reasons it came down to, and anyone that knows anything about me that watches this channel a lot, they know I'm a very calculated thinker. I don't make rush judgment decisions. I don't think about something and then just like make an overnight decision. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm quitting my job, I'm doing this or that and whatnot. So I kind of want to get into all this with you guys. I think it will help a lot of you guys out because a lot of you guys probably work jobs and a lot of you probably don't like them and you have many reasons to leave that job, okay? And I think this will just kind of help you with the thought process and kind of me explaining why I left this job, guys. Like 24 years old making 55, 60,000 a year. It's a lot of money, okay? That's a lot of money for someone that particular age. It doesn't matter where you are pretty much in the world, especially in the United States of America. There's very few, people in their early 20s making, that sum of money, okay? I mean, think about it. The average person in America makes, 50,000? Maybe somewhere around there, the average. And never mind if you look at, people in the early 20s, the average person in the early 20s is maybe making 20,000 a year. I was making, 2-3 times that amount, okay? So the first reason is we were about to have my firstborn son, okay? My firstborn son was coming and I just wanted to spend the first year of his life with him, okay? This was the biggest reason. All these other ones are super important, but this was, in my opinion, probably the biggest reason why I left that job. That job was so demanding. I was working 46, 48 hours a week, for QuikTrip and whatnot as a manager. It was a lot of time. Never mind plus meetings. It could probably, and then you take in travel time. We're talking about probably, 50 to 55 hours a week we're investing in this job. A job that you have to stand constantly, you got to run around for. There's no sitting or anything. So by the time you get home, like you were just drained, okay? You were just drained. You were freaking tired. 10-hour shifts and whatnot is tiring, okay? So I was in a position where it was like, I didn't know that maybe that was gonna be like my only son I ever had. So I was just in like the thought process of I just want to enjoy. I saved a ton of money, and whatnot. And I was like, I just want to enjoy my son's first year of life. So I'm just gonna leave work, okay? I don't want to look back at this time for the rest of my life and be like, I wish I would have done that. And I missed, all these things that my son did and all these the progress, progress steps and things like that. Oh, remember their first time crawling? Oh no, I wasn't around for that. Oh, remember their first time walking? Oh no, I wasn't around for that. I was working. All those type of things, and now I have 2 sons. I'm blessed to have 2 sons now at this point, but that was my first big thing why I quit that job was just I wanted to enjoy my son's first year of life, man. Those are the type of experiences you only get to have, maybe some people never get to have them, right? They never have kids. So I was just like, I just want to enjoy this. That was the first reason. The second reason was, and a lot of you guys are going to feel this one specifically, is man, at QuikTrip, you are a machine. Like I got a lot of positive things to say about QuikTrip. Like they gave me my whole start. I might not even be here in front of you today if it wasn't for QuikTrip, okay? I got a lot of positive stuff I've always said about QuikTrip and, kind of like how that changed my life and things like that. But there definitely were some negatives to QuikTrip, and one of them being you were a freaking machine at that company. And it's not just like QuikTrip. There's a lot of companies that you were just a machine, and I can't feel like that, man. Like at QuikTrip, there's even certain things you have to say to customers. You have to thank them a certain way. You have to do all these things a certain way. You have to dress a certain way. You have to have your shirt tucked in. You can't have any facial hair. You need to have your hair, a certain, it's so specific. I don't know if they've gotten more lenient since I left the company, but it was so specific. If you had a tattoo, which I don't even have any tattoos, so this doesn't really affect me, but if you had any tattoos whatsoever, it could be like this big, you needed to cover it up and things like that. It's insane, guys. And never mind that, just the work process in itself, you are a machine. Day in and day out, you do the same exact thing. There's no creativity there. There's no creative thing that you can just do and it's like some new thing or something like that. It's all thought of by the executive management and the upper management teams. They say you're gonna do this, you're gonna do it a certain way each and every day. And that's one of the reasons why the company is so successful. But at the same time, I just felt like a machine there. I'm just a robot. Literally, if they could automate me somehow, which they can't, but if they could automate me, the machine machine could do all these tasks and things like that, guys. And it was just like, it's just like you're just a machine at that workplace. There's no creativity, and I can't work in an environment like that. Like, I've got to have my creative side come out. I got to be able to do what I want to do. I got to be able to, do things the way I want to do. If I see a better way of doing something, I got to do it that way, not be shot down because, oh no, this is the way we do it. Because if you do it that way, somebody else is going to try to do it that way. They're not going to do it right. Like, I can't be in that environment, man. I can't feel like a machine. That is a big thing, guys. And a lot of you guys probably feel me on that. Like, a lot of you guys feel like, you have a creative side to yourself, but at your workplace, you feel like you're just a machine, man. And it's not a fun thing. The third reason is a lot of politics. Any corporate, and I would say Quick Trip was probably a better company than most companies as far as avoiding some of the politics, but still, man, the politics is amazing. What do I mean by that? I mean, like, this person knows this person, so this person puts in a good word for this person to the next person up the line, and suddenly that person gets promoted, okay? Or they have an agenda, they want to get, persons of this gender, promoted more because of, whatever the numbers they need to hit, or this race, or people that have been hired specifically in this division, they got to get, some faces up there so they can, kind of advertise that to everybody else. Look at this person got hired out here in Carolina, and look at, they got promoted all the way to store manager in 2 or 3 years. Like, they have a lot of hidden agendas. Every company's like that, guys. Every company is like that. They have agendas they need to hit because otherwise, people come and attack them and they say, well, how come, there's certain people in this position and they're all meet this criteria. They need to change it up. They have to be, politically correct and things like that nowadays. There's so much politics that went into the game that it gets frustrating, man. And you got, it's just a politic game, man. This person knows this person and suddenly they get promoted. And it's like, wait a minute, they're worse than me at everything, but yet they got promoted. Oh, that's right, because they have beers with that person every Friday night and they go out, every Saturday night and party with them. Oh, that's right. And then they got promoted. Wow, isn't that magical, guys? There's politics to this game, okay? And that's any corporate workplace. Some are worse than others. I say Quick Trip's probably better than others as far as avoiding it, but it still happens all the time, guys. The politics, it's got to frustrate some of you guys that want to get promoted at your workplace. Some people work at their job and they don't care to get promoted, and that's fine. Nothing against that. But if you are trying to rise the ranks of a corporate workplace, man, you've got to be good at the politic game, and I'm not the best at that game. It's just not my style. The fourth thing was there was limited money upside. I care about money as much as the next guy, okay? A lot. And there was a limited money upside for me. So I looked at it and it's like, okay, I can get promoted every 2, 3, maybe 5 years, depending, because obviously as you get further and further up the ranks, it gets harder and harder to get promotions. So at the earliest, maybe I can get promoted to my next position in 2 to 3 years, okay? And then I make maybe another extra 10,000, 15,000, and then I got to wait another 3 to 5 years to the next position, and then I make another extra 10 or 15. I'm like, if things take so long that the money is limited big time. And I would say, once again, Quick Trip is way better than most corporations at this as far as the amount of money you can make and things like that, and the amount of time it takes to get promoted. However, it was still super limited. Like I'm just not the I feel like there's so much more potential for me out there. And to wait 2 or 3 years to make an extra 10 or 15,000 a year, that's like crazy to me. And then it's not even guaranteed at that point. Because once again, the politics could come into play and somebody gets that position before you, okay? And I'm just like, that hurts, guys. That hurts. Like that's a really limited upside. So many people, they work in their job for years and years, and then finally they get promoted, and it's like an extra $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, and it's like, wow, you spent years and years and years proving yourself, and that's all you get? Like, that's all your payout is? I'm just like, that's so limited. You know what I mean? It's like, it's time to move on. Number 5 is there's too few in control. Basically meaning there's too few people that are kind of dictating whether you get, risen up the ranks, whether you get promoted and things like that. And once again, like that just stinks, guys, because all it takes when you're in the workplace, all it takes is one person who decides whether you get up the ranks to not like you, okay? One person, whether they don't like your attitude, they don't like the way you come across, they don't like the way, I don't know, your hairstyle is, the way you look, like your gender, your race, it doesn't matter. If it's just one thing they don't like about you, maybe you said something wrong that rubbed them the wrong way one time, and then they always judge you for that. All it takes is one thing wrong, and that person doesn't like you, you're not moving up, man. you're not moving up. And that's every corporate workplace, man. All it's going to take is you say one wrong thing that really offends somebody, that's dictating whether you get promoted. All you tell them is one wrong thing or just something they don't like about you. You're done, man. You're not getting promoted until the next person comes and takes their spot, and then maybe hopefully the next person likes you and then you get promoted, guys. Too few in control. That's pretty much every corporate workplace, and it's just a frustrating thing for anyone that wants to rise the ranks out there, okay? The sixth thing was I thought I was at a good enough stage where I can make my money into money and just live off that, okay? So stocks plus margin. I had around $200,000 of my own money in my stock market accounts. Plus, I started margining, meaning I could invest $400,000, okay? $400,000 is what I could have in the market. Now, for several years in a row, I got between 30 and 40% returns, okay? It was just knocking it out of the ballpark each and every year. So the way I thought about this is, and on margin money, you do have to pay interest, but the way I thought about it was, okay, let's say I make 30 to 40%. On $400,000, that is what, somewhere around 120,000 plus? 120, maybe 160K a year I make, all right? And think about it this way, okay? Think about it this way. Our expenses in total were super cheap back then. Like now our expenses are insane. We spend like probably $7,000 a month. Like our expenses are insane nowadays. But back then our expenses were maybe like $3,000 a month, okay? $3K a month. So do the numbers on that. That's maybe, let's say $36,000 per year we're spending on expenses. Net, like there's going to be tons more money to funnel into the accounts and things like that. The thing I didn't understand is when you go on margin, you can be hurt significantly from margin. Basically meaning you put too much money in one stock or a few stocks and those stocks go down the short term, basically your brokerage will force you to sell shares or deposit more money. Well, guess what? I didn't have more money to deposit because almost all my savings was in stocks. And then on top of that, I didn't have more money to put in because I had no job or income or anything like that. So I was just getting killed, and then stock started going bad for me. And I started losing money left and right, and I was having to sell shares when usually I would buy more shares, okay? I would make money from my job, always excess money and things like that, and I would put that extra money into stocks, okay? So I was just, in a bad position. I ended up getting killed in 2015. Anybody that knows this channel, like they know that whole story and whatnot. But needless to say, that was my thinking around it. Okay, I made 30, 40%, several years in a row. I can continue this. I can margin out. And then guess what? That did not end up happening, guys. So that was a real bad situation there. I would, highly advise you guys, one, stay away from margin. If you ever get involved with stocks, don't mess with margin. Like, it's just crazy. Warren Buffett, you would say, if you're dumb, you have no place using it. And if you're smart, you don't need it. Okay, that's a great expression. Don't mess around with margin. And if you want to live off stocks, like, make sure you have a significant amount. I would say maybe a few million in stocks, because then you won't feel short-term pressure. When you got smaller amounts, like $200,000 of your own money, then you feel like you need a margin or something to get it up to more of a significant amount, or you need to knock it out of the ballpark, and it's like, okay, then you put short-term pressure on yourself. Not a good decision. But that was one of the other reasons I, left the workplace. And the last thing was, now I live in Las Vegas. We moved out here in 2015. I had come out here a few times, and I just felt like it was where I wanted to live and where I needed to live. And I don't know I can't explain it. I don't gamble, I don't drink, I don't club or any of those things, but I felt like I had to be in Vegas. Just something about the atmosphere. It's just a place I need to be. There's some people that, they want to live by the beach and they feel like that's their calling. Like they have to live by the beach or live in New York City or wherever it is, or out in the country. Some people just like living by nobody out in the country and or in a small community. I just felt there's something vibe out in Las Vegas that I'm just like, I gotta be out here, man. I've gotta live out here. So basically, between all these things is why I ended up leaving that job. And it was the best thing I ever did. Like short term, it certainly didn't look like things were going very well. I was losing money on stocks because of the margin. I started short-term trading, started putting short-term pressure. It looked really bad. I had to start businesses and things like that. And it was going really south for the short term for that first year or two after I left the workplace. But then, we are where we're at today, and it's just a whole different level than I was at before. So I'm blessed I made that decision. It's a hard decision, guys. And it's definitely a decision if any of you guys are ever thinking about leaving your workplace. workplace, you really got to think it through from all different angles and things like that, guys. Just think about it from all the different angles, the same way I did. You know, think about the good, the bad, the pros, the cons, and why you really want to leave that workplace, and kind of figure that out. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Link is down there in the description. Thank you for watching and have a great day.